Hi folks, we've got a problem with this Vauxhall Astra VXR Mk5 and it's quite a common problem, but no one seems to have the right answer. So let's check it out and see what we can find. Right, now Gary's VXR has had a problem with sort of a slight lag sometimes when he goes to accelerate, not all the time, but he's also got a fault code up as well. He's done a couple of things to it with regards to changing the actuator on the turbo, as this one had a broken arm on it, and that didn't cure the problem. But let me show you what we mean. Well, if you look here, this actuator here has a vacuum hose that connects to the top of it there, and this chamber has an arm coming out of the bottom, which I don't know whether you can see or not, actually goes to an arm which should open and close a venturi or a flap in the exhaust manifold. Well, this actuator isn't operating, and as I say, this goes down via a hose to a connection point down here, which is some sort of electrical connection, and also some sort of hose connection which pulls a pipe onto the turbo manifold as well. Underneath there, very cramped underneath here, we have apparently it's called a recirculating valve down there, and that again has a vacuum hose fitted to it, which also goes to the side of the turbo, the other side of the turbo. Now the fault code which Gary's got is saying that that recirculation valve down there has got a diaphragm fault. In other words, it's not pulling a vacuum. Gary's gone out and bought a replacement one. This is supposed to be an upgrade, and this one doesn't have a diaphragm in it, although it still obviously has a hose connection. And if I show you this way, that's what actually fits into the side body, and this still sucks up, but it's not operated by a diaphragm anymore. If I just take this apart, just by undoing that, this kit that he's got, as you can see, it's got a spring inside, so the actual pressure for the up and down movement via the vacuum is created by a spring and not a diaphragm. So this is an upgraded part, and depending on what tune your engine's got, there is an uprated spring as well that comes with a kit in there, Gary. So it does come with an uprated spring to put in there as well. So this one seems a softer spring actually. This must be the standard one.
I'm just checking now which one.
Well, this one that's in there at the moment looks like it's a stronger spring. Anyway, so that's how this works now. Now, as I say, Gary's fault code on his car comes up with a diaphragm issue. So this is the part we're going to change today. He's already changed the actuator, as I showed you before. That didn't cure the problem, so we're hoping now that fitting this thing will clear the fault and also enable this to open again, and which will hopefully stop the lag on the turbo. There's a few things to strip out first of all, so let's get on and start that now. Yeah, so he's just found out off of the phone that the green one, this is the standard one, which is a softer spring, and the other one which is in here at the moment is a tougher spring, which is for the tune. Where did you get this part from, Gary? He got it off eBay. How much it cost? It was a £25 kit, and obviously that's what we're going to be fitting now. So there's no diaphragm in here. So let's get on and start stripping this down. Right. So first of all, we're just going to make a bit more room for ourselves here, just by taking off this inlet manifold to the top of the turbo. Right, so that just gets that out of the way. Right, so we're just going to take the top off of that electrical connector, eh? And that is these two bolts there, which are T25 Torx bits. A little bit awkward to get to, but you can do it. Just putting a bit of tissue down there so we don't drop anything in the turbo. And there's only two fixings on this. Ideally you want an extension on there. We're doing this with a quarter drive socket and also a wobble bar as well, because things are a little tight in there. Oh, so you take one out and then the other one at the back there, as you can see, just slides sideways there. Right, we're just going to undo the clip as well, electrical connector. And there's two hoses connected to that thing. I don't know whether you can actually see that there, can you? There's the bit we've just taken off. And we're going to need to get the pliers just so we can undo the clips on the hoses so we can pull the thing out. And the thing that we want underneath it, as you can see, is just situated underneath it, and that's held on by what looks like 3 Allen bolts. So you only need to take the outer Torx bit out of the way and then just loosen this first one here, and there is a little gap there where you can just slide this unit out, as you can see there, look. And as you can see, if I just show you this, that's the actual bit which comes off above the recirculation valve, and that gives us a bit more access now. Right, so what we've had to do, we had to cut an Allen key down, as you can see, like that, so that we can get to it. So that's what you may have to do as well. Also, we're going to need to take that centre hose clip off as well. Well, we're just going to undo these 3 bolts and then we'll see you in a minute. Right, so on this bottom one, as you can see, I've got a 1/4 inch drive 5mm Allen key in the holder, and you can see the route I've come in from, which just makes it a lot easier coming in from this way. Right, okay, so as you can probably see there, I've undone that screw now. I'm just withdrawing, which looks like the screw. And as you can see now, I'm just lifting out the bracket that covers our diaphragm unit. Now don't forget there's a spring in there, you can't see it yet, but I'm just withdrawing this. There's one body. I'm just taking the bracket out of the way first. As you can see, look, there's the bracket that covers it. And the diaphragm unit here, I'm just bringing it out. It comes out in 2 halves, so just be careful that you don't drop anything. Right, so that's the actual thing you can see there, and that's the diaphragm that sucks in and out. Now it doesn't seem to be broken, but we're going to change it for the upgraded one as a matter of course. And one thing we did notice, that when we disconnected this hose going onto there, which obviously is the one that actuates the diaphragm, the hose itself looked a bit perished, so there's a very good chance that that might have been our problem. So as you can see, we're exchanging this unit for this unit, and hopefully this will do the job. So we're going to put this back in now, the same way as what you just seen us take this one out. Right, so just one thing to notice here, as you can see, we've got the 3 fixing bolts there, and we've got the 3 fixing bolts on our bracket. We know our bracket goes this way up, so what you've got to realise is that this bit can go on all 3 ways. So it could go on that way, it could go on that way, and it could go on that way. What you've got to realise, when you turn it round, make sure that this slot there goes in that way, because there's an actual slot on the side there. So I'm naturally assuming that that's the way that the slot faces towards that slot there. So just make sure you put it in the correct way. Now we've had a little look at this, and we can't physically get this in one go. So what we're going to have to do is to take the top part off, slide this bit in, then thread this on afterwards. So that's what we're going to have to do now. Right, I will say that was a right pain to get in, but it wouldn't go in one bit, so you might have to take it apart as we did. Put the first bit in first and then screw that top body on afterwards. So I'm just going to whip this up now, and then we'll see you in a minute. Right, so we're just screwing the top electrical connector in with the other 2 hoses. The bottom one's now on. Okay, don't forget to clip the electrical connector back on, and then finish off just by putting the top hose clip back on there. Right, and that hopefully should be the job. We're just going to put this back on there, and we'll see if that does the job. To be honest with you, we don't think you actually needed to take this off, but it didn't actually get in our way whatsoever, so you may not need to take that off. We'll give it a test ride. Hold on, let me get in. We can see that one. Right, okay then, let's see what if we still got our problem.
Feel responsive there.
Hey?
Feel better there, not responsive.
Fucking hell, it's quick, isn't it?
Yeah. Back to normal.
You reckon?
Well, pulling off like that, yeah.
And what would it do when you normally used to give it a bit of throttle?
It'd take a second or 2 to
So you had a bit of lag there?
Yeah.
And you've had quite a few different people look at this, haven't you? You've been back to garages and stuff, is that right?
Yeah.
And this is the final thing that you've actually managed to find after about 6 or 8 months trying to investigate this, yeah?
Yeah, well, I was chatting to a bloke on Facebook, and he told me all about it. So, a bit of Facebook knowledge there. He directed me to change this.
Well, that's back to normal, isn't it? There's no lag there, is there?
No.
Right, well there you go, months of investigation on this little hesitant fault which he's had, and now that little £24 or £25 part has actually cured the problem. So again, it might not be the answer to your question, but it's something else to look at, especially if you've got a diaphragm fault code that come up for that actuator, and it worked for us. So there you go. Hope this was some information to you VXR owners, and we'll see you again in the next video, and until then, bye for now.